Hey, it's Greg again from Whedonpolis.com. We're here at Stan Lee's Comikaze Expo here at the LA Convention Center here in Los Angeles, and we're bringing you some of the panels that we recorded. This one is the panel for Dust Up. It's a new movie that Amber Benson was in. You may remember Amber, who played Tara in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and this is her new movie. And it looks really cool, and hope you enjoy the panel.
Hi, I'm Joe Lynch. Very nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Joe Lynch. I am a filmmaker and sometimes a panelist. And I came here today. I'm so thrilled to be here at Stan. You know what?
I'm so thrilled to be here at Stan Lee's Comikaze this year. It is. God, have you guys been walking around?
Yeah.
Holy crap! It's awesome. It's so nice not to drive 2.5 hours down to San Diego, right? Screw the 405. It's right here. By the way, my apologies in advance. This is a not safe for work panel, so if anyone has any problems with language or body fluids, probably best to leave now. But we will keep it as genial as possible because it is still the afternoon. Real quick, I just wanted to say, I know the team that we're going to be bringing up here for a couple years now. I was introduced to one of their first films called Joshua. It was a film that came out a couple years ago. Brian Posehn, the comedian, kind of said, now, when Brian Posehn tells you something is awesome, you gotta watch it, right? Because he was like, dude, you gotta watch this movie. It's awesome! So, like, all right, I gotta see it. So I don't know who that guy is, but he's probably something very integral to this panel. So I saw this film, and it was directed by Travis Betz, and it stars Ward Roberts, who we're gonna be bringing up here. And it was made by this company called Drexelbox. And indie film is a very, very tricky art form because you're dealing with things like, anything can happen in indie film, like menus coming up right during my speech. But it is a very tricky situation to handle, and the best thing that you can do to deal with it is to work amongst family and friends. Any filmmakers out here? Pretty much everybody with an iPhone. You're all filmmakers, so welcome. But one of the things that's really difficult about indie film is being able to retain your vision, but also be able to have the money to bring your vision to life. One of the things that I really admired about Drexelbox, and which kind of reminded me of, there's a lot of bass there, reminded me of the work of like the Renaissance pictures, the old Sam Raimi, Rob Tappert, or the old View Askew, pre-Smodcast of like Smith and Mosier, where here's these two guys, they bring all their friends along, and they make these movies for $20 in a box of duct tape, and boom, you have a movie, and it's out there, and it's their vision. When I saw Joshua, it was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen, and it would have never, ever been at an AMC, and that's a compliment, because it's pure cinema, and it's no holds barred. And from there, I became friends with Travis and Ward as well, and throughout the years, I've seen all of their works. Director Ward Roberts, who we'll bring up in a second, made one of the most fantastic dramas I've seen in the last 10 years, and I kid you not, with Sid Haig. Oh, that's very nice. The film is called Little Big Top. It's about a down-and-out clown. It's nothing like what you would expect at all from Sid Haig. It was unbelievable, and I was blown away by this performance, and the amount of restraint that Ward and Travis and the whole Drexelbox team brought to this film, it really inspired me. I worked with Ward recently. I'm sorry if I'm going to be bringing this up because it's probably not a high point in your career, but I had done an anthology a couple of years back called Chillerama, where, hey, somebody bought it or somebody stole it, where Ward plays one of the members of a drive-in on the last night before it gets closed down. He plays a douchebag who unfortunately eats the popcorn that got jerked off into by a zombie and turns into a sex zombie. Well, come on, honestly, when there's no more room in hell, the dead shall fuck the earth. You want to see this, right? Well, Ward played one of the patrons there, and he gives new meaning to the word skull fucking. I'm just gonna throw it out there. So, I've been a big fan of Ward's, and when Ward told me about this new film that he was making called Dust Up, I got really excited. It was a total cineboner. But then I saw it And I was so blown away by the utter vision that was on display. Like immediately, you know when you like read those quotes, it's like, it's Point Break meets Garbage Pail Kids the movie. And you're like, oh, I gotta see this or avoid it like the plague. Immediately, 20 minutes into the film, I went, this is Raising Arizona Beyond Thunderdome. Right? Come on, like that's awesome. And by the end of the film, I was just so enthralled by by just the vision that was on display that when Ward asked me to talk and be here and support the film, I was like, absolutely, dude, my pleasure. So enough about me. Let's bring the guys up. First off, let's see, who should we bring up first? You know what? I'm gonna bring the director up first. The multi-hyphenate Ward Roberts. Come on up here.
Now it's gonna get official. Oh, right there, yeah. That was divine. Next up, we have actor, producer, another filmmaker, part of the Drexel Box Collective, Travis Betz. Cozy on up here. Oh, Travis. All right, so next up we have the DP of the film. She is this unbelievably amazing photographer. She's made plenty of short films and music videos. I believe this is her first feature film that she did. Second, sorry. I have Netflix Instant and all I do is watch 30 Rock. Anyway, Shannon Hourigan, come on up here. And now we're getting to our cast. Aaron Gaffey, the star of the film, one of the stars of the film, and also one of the members of the Drexel Box Collective. Come on up here. T-shirts by which are available at the Drexel Box booth. They're pretty awesome. And finally, 668. 868. Or 69 or whatever you like. And finally, you know her, you love her, Amber Benson. Good game, Benson. Nice, very nice. So, first thing I wanted to kind of bring up is, especially since there's a lot of filmmakers here, and that's really awesome to hear that there's people here that love film, love making film. These guys are such an inspiration to me and to so many other people because they're using the latest in, I guess, really just distribution and production to get their stuff out. Because most times, I mean, even 10 years ago, the game has been so different where it's like, oh, I need a 16mm camera and then no film festival will show my stuff. Now you can have a 5D camera and YouTube and you have a worldwide audience. So real quick, I mean, from the time that you guys met, where did you, Ward and Travis, meet? How did this synergy begin?
Well, I was dating Travis's sister.
God. Now I know you're gonna stop. Now it's gone. Now it's my turn.
Yeah, well, Trav was in an improv group that I kept not being able to get into because I didn't audition very well. But fortunately, I did well enough before our senior year that I did get in.
But I was still against it.
Yeah, Trav wanted this girl, but fortunately there was enough other people in the group who wanted me, so I got in. And then we pretty much right away realized that we were headed here to do this, even though if we'd known how long and difficult it was going to take to get here to Stan Lee's Comikaze and be talking about a film, we might not have made the trip to LA. But yeah, so that was over 10 years ago, and we moved out with Devin Barry, who's also in the film, and another friend of ours, Jeremiah Jordan, who helped us with our first film, Joshua. He's one of the stars and a producer and editor on it. Yeah, we just kind of been making movies and videos and shorts and doing sketch shows and everything ever since.
And Ward is currently not dating my sister anymore.
No, I actually broke up with her to start dating my now wife.
She broke up with you.
No, I broke up with her at Wendy's and she was really pissed at me.
At a Wendy's? Really? At a Wendy's?
At a Wendy's?
I was 19.
Was it over a Frosty at least?
I guess at a Wendy's is better than
At a Jerry's.
She didn't finish the burger. She got.
But now, how did you guys go from, I mean, the first film that I had seen you guys do together, Joshua, which again, if I believe it's still being released through Fangoria Video? Like,
No, the Heart Sharp Entertainment was the actual distributor. They went bankrupt. We took the movie back, so we currently own the rights.
So you brought it back to...
We brought it back to someday do something with it again when we had the means and the energy. So, I mean, it's still up on, you can still buy it on Amazon, and you can still rent it hard disk from Netflix.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome. I mean,
Other than that, yeah, we need to do a re-release at some point in our careers.
or just reboot it, just take it to Platinum Dunes and let them have their way with it.
Right.
That's a terrible idea. Sorry I even brought that up, my apologies.
But yeah, no, we own the rights right now to that.
So from there, I mean, one of the things that was so nice about watching like you guys really evolve as filmmakers is how there would be one project where Ward would be acting in Travis's film and vice versa. How do you guys decide on that? Like, where do you come up with the idea of like, oh, well, you're going to be in Low and you're going to be in Dust Up? Like, where do you decide this factor?
I don't know if it's we necessarily decide. Ward has always been both an actor and a filmmaker, and damn good at both. And I came out here with strict idea of a screenwriter and director. That was what I wanted to do. But I've always performed, and I enjoy acting, and I enjoy it. But I never pursued it. I never got headshots or anything like that. So we always did the videos on the internet together. We did the sketch together, the improv together. But I hadn't really done a movie. But Little Big Top, he put me in as a silent clown. So
I couldn't afford to have more SAG actors, so the way I avoided having more SAG actors is I just had all the clowns not talk.
right.
And it's an inspired moment too, because you just cut to Travis and you go, and you're like, that is a wonderful choice.
Actually, if you watch Trav's progression through the film, he becomes more and more psychotic. Like, you look at his reactions and you're like, he actually goes home and kills things.
Well, yeah, I have a bit of a pointy face, so when I but yeah, and then
How did that go? Can I get that one more time?
There it is.
when Dust Up came around, Ward just thought it would be fun to work with me and threw me in the role.
Trav has a great presence, great comedic ability, and I basically knew if I gave him a role, he would take a lot of the work off of my shoulders and do it himself, and that's what he did. And what basically Dust Up came up from was, all right, we met Aaron when we were doing Joshua, and we loved him, and he's an incredible actor. So I absolutely wrote the part of Jack for him, and Herman for Travis, and Mo for Devin, and of course I knew Shannon was going to shoot it because she's a genius, and I don't use that term lightly, but watch the movie and you'll know what I mean. And then what was missing was a leading lady, and that was really the only part I hadn't written with somebody in mind who was a close friend, and so that was the only role we auditioned for. And Amber came in, and I tried not to dork out on her too much.
That sounded terrible, by the way. Awful.
Wait, it sounded terrible? What'd I do?
Dork
Say
out.
it.
Dork out on her?
Oh, right. I forgot who I was talking to, Joe.
He's wearing an eye patch on his balls.
Available at the Dust Up panel booth.
But Amber did amazing in the audition, and I sort of warned her how down and dirty this film was going to be, and she was like, no.
No, he took me to coffee. He's like, I just want to warn you, this is going to be disgusting and filthy and foul, and if you are a bitch, we don't want you. That's literally like, that was the subtext. And then, but it was very sweet and nice, and he bought me some coffee, and I was like, I promise you I won't be bitchy. And I like having mud in my face, so.
Dude, you so read the subtext on that. you understood it better than I did.
I think we had conversations about that. It's like, we gotta find a girl who's not a bitch, man.
But then they really lured me because his little girl Bo is in the film, and it was like, baby? Like, baby? That's baby? Oh.
The babies always work out. Now, actually, you made the film and also produced a child as well during this, which, if anyone has ever had a baby or made a film, I did the same thing. Having a child is just like being in production on a film. It's just a very, very long film that tells you to go F yourself when they're 18.
When they're 2.5.
Or wow, dude, really?
Yeah, she's got.
So what was it like being the director of a film and also the producer of a child?
Well, that's both. I was very afraid I was going to mess both up forever, especially in those early months. The migraines before Bo was born, I got MRIs and EKGs and all those things, and then once Bo was born, the migraine stopped. So it turns out I was just totally freaking out about being a dad. But I was like, well, let me tackle the thing I know, which is I've made one film before. So that was an overwhelming, horrifying thing that I could wrap my brain around. Being a father, I could not comprehend. So I put all my worry and anxiety into making a film rather than worrying about messing up a human life. But about 6 months into both, the movie was shot, was starting to come together. She seemed like she was coming along very well. I'm like, I think these things are going to turn out together, these siblings. She was in the film, so really the primary motivation of having the child was production value.
It really helps.
Free
It
baby.
really does. Free babies always. We did it in ours in Chilrama. But I will not go into what I did to my son, who will hate me when he's 15.
I could see the state of California knocking on both of our doors.
Yeah, we're so screwed. Megan's Law is going to come after us. Before we set up a clip, because I'd love to show the clip, can you set up the film for our audience about what Dust Up is about and give them a little bit of a precursor to it?
Well, you know what I want to do is, because I want to kick it back down to Amber, who just she came into this, and as far as what you experienced as the new member, and sort of, I think you were as close to objective on the experience in the film as can be up here. So why don't you intro the film a little bit with your experience on how you got to know this group?
No pressure.
All right. Sorry, I'm getting over a sinus infection, so I'm gonna use the mic instead of yelling at you. My voice sounds weird. No, you do this. I've been doing this a long time, and when you meet people that are just good people and they want to make something fun and they want to basically have film camp, you're like, yes, I'm involved. I want to be part of this, because so many times you work on things and it's just crappy and people aren't nice and you just go home in tears. And this was the opposite. This was how much fun can we possibly have? And how many days did we do this?
21.
21 days, very, very fast. But it's a grindhouse western. Yeah, which they're not a lot of those. I like to say there's a bit of a post-apocalyptic feel to it. There's some cannibalism. There's a really cute baby that I got spit up on by, but we did not catch it on film.
Oh, she had just walked off camera and Bo was bleh, all over.
Yeah,
Production value.
They're like, get back in front of it. But once it's done, it's not quite as exciting as while it's happening. It's a different kind of splurging. Sorry. That is also in the film. That kind of thing. There's some
We told you
splurging.
not safe for work panel or movie.
Yeah, not kid safe for the splurging, but not in the clip you'll see. Right? There's no splurging, right? Yeah, it's
No.
safe. Okay, it's
We
child
hear
safe.
very nervous people in the background. Right, no, we're good, we're fine.
And then there's some YMCA action. There's a cowboy, an Indian, and a construction worker.
And a sheriff.
And a sheriff. That's true. I literally looked around one day and I said to Ward, did you do this on purpose? No.
That was the thing. We really didn't know exactly what the tone was going to be. And then, and when we saw Gaffey with his eye patch, Travis with his cowboy hat, and Devin with his feather, we're like, oh.
It's fun to stay at the see? Yeah. That's stuff. No, it's an awesome film. It's a lot of fun. I had a blast making it. These guys are fantastic. I will be working with them for the rest of my lives, or as long as they'll have me. And I think you'll really enjoy it. And Gaffey's kind of a movie star in it, so.
Hey, Gaffey, why don't you, I think we're going to watch the opening title sequence, because that's the DVD we have. You want to?
Okay.
Gaffey, see, here's the thing about Gaffey.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Gaffey's the stoic leading actor who not only has very few lines to work with, he also only has one eyeball to work with. So when you watch this movie and you see what he does essentially with one eyeball, you're going to be really impressed.
I guess. The opening title sequence.
Yeah.
I don't really know what more to say about it.
You know what? This is more of a Shannon question. Shannon, you came up with Adam Tiller, who made the title sequence, this look. Tell us about this look, Shannon.
Hi.
And we just made Shannon even more uncomfortable.
Thanks, guys. I'm so sorry. I really wanted to have a retro, westerny poster look, so I looked at a lot of posters and just kind of played with the design and came up with that, tried to make it a little bit more contemporary. And then Adam took that look and did some really cool shit with it.
Yeah, it's very much inspired by the Leone Westerns opening titles, but it's it couldn't just look like it's imitating that. And Shannon was able to, with textures and colors, really recall that, but I think make it brand new and fresh and exciting.
Instead of a spaghetti western, it's more of like an egg noodle western.
Or ramen western.
You're getting quotes left and right here. This is awesome.
Writing this down.
So without further ado, shall we show a little clip?
Let's do it.
Of what Dust Up is, but what's so great about watching that is now that I've seen the movie and seeing like what they use with the titles, all the little hints that you have throughout the course of the film, you're basically essentially rolling out the story in the title sequence, which is very Leone-esque or Saul Bass. So
Yeah.
how the hell did you come up with this, dude? Like,
Well, I mean, it was really, again, like Adam Tiller did so much of this, it was, to me, I wanted Dust Up, we were calling it, my mom loves this one, we were like, it's Straw Dogs, but funny. And the reason I use Straw Dogs is because it starts so slow and simple, and it's, you know, out in the middle of nowhere and sort of what should be idyllic. And I was honestly afraid that in the first act we might lose people because it's such a slow burn. And so I told Adam, I was like, I really want to have this exciting grab you by the throat opening so they know what's coming and they don't like sort of get lulled into something when all this insanity is coming later. So again and again, you know, Adam, I've told him, he just started us off such on the right foot. That people see that, they're like, okay, we'll start to get to know these people and let it breathe in the first half hour or so, and then when stuff really starts to take off, they're, you know, some tension has been built towards that because of what they saw a half hour ago.
now, when you finished with the script, was there any idea that I could take this to Warner Brothers right now? You know, it's like, why not? 20th Century Fox? Hello, Tom Rothman? No? Okay, bye. Was there any idea?
He said no, and look what happened to him.
Oh, too soon, dude. Too soon. No, but honestly, like,
Don't put that anywhere online.
Was there? Put that online. You're not making X-Men anytime soon. Come on, you're too talented for that. Do you feel that this could have been different if you had gone, you know, the route that you didn't take, you know, or that you ended up taking, which was, you know, pure indie cinema? There weren't too many cooks in the kitchen. You had Final Cut, obviously. What was the benefit of doing it indie style to finally have the vision that you created, as opposed to, well, here's some more money, but you can't have this or you can't have that? What, like, did you feel like this was the right path to go? Obviously, he's going to say yes, but we want to know why.
Such a disappointment. The thing is that what had been building since college, and actually Derek Miller just walked in, who founded the improv group, Full Frontal Comedy, that me and Trav and Devin met in, which was, you know, maybe as far as where us sitting up here today was the most important thing that could have happened to me. Like, that was,
It's all for you, man. It's all for you.
So calling back to that, from that point all the way through picking up Gaffey on Joshua and other members of our crew, Travis meeting Shannon and that changing our lives, Amber coming.
Actually.
That's true.
Oh, Joe introduced them at Comic-Con.
Yeah, the rest is history. See, it's all one big happy family. Yeah.
All because we live together.
But it's a collective voice that has been built. It's a sensibility that has grown with each project collectively. You know, not that people don't go off and do other things too, but it's just built and built and built, and Dust Up is the latest incarnation of that, and Dead Inside, which Travis and Shannon did, that's coming out in November too. That's just where the journey's at right now. And if we were to go with somebody else and they were to give us a bunch of money and say, we can decide how all this really gets done ultimately and who you're gonna do it with, then that's all gone. You know, and maybe they let us keep one or two people, but everything that we've been building in this voice is diluted at best.
Got it. Now, let me ask, I'm going to start down with Amber, but I'd love to find out, this was a 21-day shoot, and if anyone who's made a film before, 21 days usually puts a pit in your stomach, because, you know, it's tough. But with that in mind, give us, I want to go right back up to Ward, what's the biggest challenge that you had with this kind of situation to make this film? What's the biggest challenge and what's the best memory you had?
I guess
That's a great answer.
Thank you. I'll be back here tomorrow at the
Steal
same
that
time.
answer.
Yeah. No, the biggest challenge is like we're doing special effects, we're doing stunts, we have a baby. Like literally, like those are three things you don't want to deal with when you're shooting something in 21 days because it just takes it eats time. And the fact that we were able to pull off, or that Ward was and Shannon were able to pull off this film that looks unreal for nothing, and with all those components, like it's a big deal. Like if you're doing a talking head movie in like an apartment, 21 days, knock yourself out, yay you. But when you're, in the middle of the desert in Joshua Tree, and there are, people chasing you over and over and over again until like 7 in the morning, like it's a totally different kettle of fish. But probably my favorite thing about making Dust Up was Bo kept farting when we were his little girl. She was like little tiny little baby, and she would fart, and it was really cute. And we blamed Mike Nelson, who was in the film. We'd be like, Mike, I didn't do it. This is Bo. So actually, I'm not actually sure it was her. It might have been Mike, but but that was fun. That's what you do after you've spent 14 hours a day with somebody. You just make fun of baby farts.
And not only on top of everything else that Amber said that we were going through as far as the challenges, it was summer in the desert in Joshua Tree. So it's essentially every day that we've had over the last few days for 21 days. But it was incredibly beautiful. Like the landscape was a character itself, and Ward had planned that. I mean, and he and I had talked about it numerous times because his mom had lived out there for a few years, and the desert played a character in the film, and it truly does. I'm trying to think of like the quintessential experience over the shoot, and oh my God, there were so many challenges. Learning to see in 2 dimensions was an awesome challenge, and then in typical Drexelbox fashion, whether it's Ward or Travis directing, the first sequence that I shot was Travis attacking me through a screen door with one eye, and I had worn the eye patch for about a week on and off.
With a real knife.
With a real knife, by the way, which I cut my hand on later picking it up, and it was like, oh my God, that was a real knife you were coming out the door, and then falling onto the ground and rolling around and getting stabbed at.
Did you make the eye patch yourself?
I did make the eye patch myself. When I did Joshua with Travis, he said, the character I played was James Lilly, and when you see the film, you'll understand it a little more, but James Lilly has a diary. And so I made the diary, and I brought it to Travis, and Ward and I, who played childhood friends, worked together a lot, and we actually treated it kind of theatrically and rehearsed together a lot. And through our talks, I would write down things and create things in this diary, and so I brought it to Travis when we started shooting. Well, when Ward approached me about Dust Up, I was like, can I make the eye patch? So I took some leather and totally crafted it. It's not this one at all, but yeah, I still have it. But yeah, the whole experience is fantastic as always, so.
My favorite quote from that journal in Joshua that you can hear in the voiceover is, livers are slippery.
He played a real fucked up guy.
Shannon's turn.
My turn. For me, the biggest challenge, we had a really small crew. So for me, the biggest challenge was I didn't actually have a crew. I got to set and I was given a PA who was my entire camera and lighting crew. I think she'd been awake for 24 hours when she turned up on set, so she was completely confused and what the hell are you doing? But she ended up being pretty amazing.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, she just rocked it. By the end, she was like a gaffer. Yeah, she was pretty cool. I guess my favorite memory would be, it's like one of the first days we were there, we used to hang out at this saloon, Joshua Tree Saloon, dive bar, and they had a karaoke night, and Travis in the movie plays a Hooverstein Brody, and he got up and did this pretty amazing version of The Reason, dedicated to Amber, his on-screen wife. Yeah, it was pretty great. And then Tom Devlin got up and did Ice Ice Baby.
Wow.
Also pretty amazing.
It's on YouTube, right?
I think it is, yeah.
You can probably find it.
8
Actually, real
million
quick, I wanted to
views.
ask Shannon, what did you shoot the film on?
It was a 70.
Really? It looks fantastic. I mean, that's one of the things that I really responded to, and you guys will when you see the film, is that it has such a striking, vibrant look to it. It's almost like if you took like a Hipstamatic or an Instagram kind of filter and put it onto an entire film. It's like if Sergio Leone had Instagram, that's kind of what the film would look like in a way. But to be able to shoot something like, was shooting on the 7D beneficial? Were there any restraints with shooting something so small and compact? Or did that really kind of instill more style into the film instead of having a big rig and stuff?
Yeah, because we had to shoot so much, we had to shoot so quickly. It's just so portable. We could just hand it off to each other. Ward shot a lot of some of the stuff too.
Well, and especially in Ella's house, Amber's house, this cute, totally dialed in desert house that somebody, Charlie, had spent years making look cute and beautiful, but it was very small. So for Shannon to be able to get in there with the 7D and put it in a corner with a really like super wide lens and get the whole thing and make it look very spacious, I think was a huge advantage. I don't know how we could have done it with something else.
Yeah, definitely.
Travis?
Oh, me? Biggest challenge for me was, well, Gaffey was talking about the first day. His first day was also my first day. I think, was that your first day? It was my first day, jumping out of a doorway with a knife, screaming, methed out of my head, and attacking him with it. And the very first time I did that, I thought I had broke my ribs. Because I'm an idiot and I do things full out, because I'm an idiot. And so I was just basically jumping on top of him onto the desert ground off of that stoop. And we just kept doing that over and over and over again. And the more I did it, the more I just could barely move and I was in pain. And by the end of it, I was having trouble breathing. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. But, I am not one to see a doctor, so I just let it ride. And
did you find the pony?
I'm too cool for that. The pony was found. So then throughout the shoot, that was my first day. So for the rest of the shoot, I was in severe pain and I was doing all my own stunts, like the bar fight. I'm tossed under the bar and dragged across it, and then all this. My rib ended up just being bruised really badly. But if you don't take care of it, it's painful as hell. And then there's one time that they surround me in a chain link cage, and they literally make the cage around me. And the tops of it are, this is just a chain link fence they got. This isn't like approved.
No, Tom Devlin already had it in his garage.
So the tops of it are razor sharp points that go all around it. And at one point when I'm trying to escape and I run, the chain fence fell at the same time and it stabbed me in the shoulder and went under my fingers. So basically just dragged the skin up my fingers and punctured me in the shoulder.
You killed a man.
That was a good night too. And then, of course, Ward left me out in the desert sun for, I think, 14 hours one day in a chair covered in blood. I couldn't move.
And that was your
I did.
That was your happiest moment.
I had a bottle of whiskey under my chair that I just kept pulling from. Speaking of booze, I guess happier moments were...
Well, I thought that was your happiest.
No, that was a good one.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of booze, when we would wrap it, we'd wrap sometimes, most times at like 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and the Joshua Tree Saloon was so kind to have 6 a.m. happy hour. So we would.
It's because there's a military base right close by,
Right.
so their happy hours like 6 to 10 in the morning.
It was amazing. Yeah, and it was like $2 for Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
So we would just go in there after shoot, and we'd get pretty drunk at 6 a.m. We'd go to bed around 2, wake up around 4, get back to work. So, yeah, it was a good time.
Ward? I mean, truthfully, I had a lot of help from my fellow producer and sister, Kadi, on getting the shooting schedule.
Is Kadi here right now?
Kadi is here.
All right, let's give it up for Kadi, yes. There she is right there, still filming.
And she not only helped work out that shooting schedule, she also brought Christian into our mix, who plays Shakes in the movie, and he could have played 4 different roles in the movie. He's such a good actor. And they've been helping throughout the whole process of getting this film released too. But just not having an AD, we didn't have a first AD. What was super horrifying was that I was the most experienced producer on set, which is never a situation you want to be in. In terms of, we were all kind of tied, we were like filmmakers and stuff like that. They were like, we'll figure this out. So to me, it was just the idea that logistically, the coordinating, the scheduling could, like, what? We just kind of, we made it up, sort of. Like, it could all, is this going to work? Can we shoot this in much in one day?
Kind of a by any means necessary.
Yeah, and just a guess, like a 22-day guess. And doing splits from 10 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 nights in a row, having 60 extras out from Los Angeles. You know, it's just like, to me, literally, I tried to keep this off of the set and mostly at home with my mom and wife present of maybe technically, medically, I was having a nervous breakdown and just trying not to let people see it when they were around. But it was like, at any point in time, all these people are out here because they believe in the project. You know, virtually nobody was paid, you know, and it was like, if they stopped believing that we were creating something special, they could just get in their car and move back to LA. So I was like afraid at any moment something could derail us on this high wire act we were performing, and that it will all just come tumbling down. So it was really, you know, that scheduling, keeping everything chugging, and keeping people believing. And what I realize in hindsight now is when we did that script read and everybody was in the room together, it was no longer about them just believing in me and what I was trying to sell them on what we were doing. Everybody started believing in each other and the project, which was something much bigger than me. I wish I'd realized that at the time, and I could have relaxed a little bit. But in hindsight, it was like, no, somewhere around the time we all got together and read the script, everybody was like, yeah, we can do this.
Now, you guys are having a screening tomorrow of the film, correct?
Correct, yeah, here at 3 o'clock.
Okay. This is one of those things where I implore all of you to be there for the screening, because you'll wish that you had the screening first and then could come back here and ask all the WTF moments that are in the movie, because there's a plethora of WTF moments. I remember the screening that I went to see at the Silent Movie Theater a couple months back. The amount of gasps that were on display, just between Travis's Neither Regions having many a cameo in the film, which I was pretty stunned by.
That was an accident.
There's a lot of male
Oh yeah,
nudity.
that was an accident.
It was an accident that made it into the
Sure.
film.
There's a lot of male nudity.
Yeah.
It's exciting. You should like
But
there's
worth
some
it.
ladies too. There's something for everyone.
It's an equal opportunity genital area.
Well, and do watch Chillerama and then watch Dust Up, and then you can see there's a theme with me.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, you do enjoy the male genitals. But was there something in the melange of WTF moments that you have in this movie? Was there one moment that, you know, whether it was the cast or crew, that said, "Dude, too far"?
I will say that the cast and crew, when I asked the question too far, they were like, perfect. You know, there's a couple moments, and I don't know, probably word will get out soon enough. You know, we've already mentioned cannibalism. There's one other particular moment involving Ezra Buzzington that he was very adamant be included in the film. Let's just say we shot it 2 different ways. I'll let that one surprise you. But, you know, even up until a few weeks ago.
Just imagine in the face.
I said body fluids at the beginning of the panel.
And I will say nobody was more vocal than Amber in supporting.
I'm all about bodily fluids in the face.
Wow, this just took a weird turn.
Political platform. I'm running on that next 4 years down the way.
I mean, to me, the fear was I felt everybody had done such a great job, and the movie wasn't just about a couple of shock moments. It was about heart and caring about the characters and the journey they're on and the danger they're in. Like, am I taking away from that? Am I marginalizing our audience and limiting it by having a couple of these items? But when we found out, you know, we got picked up by In Demand, and we're going to be in over 100 million homes, and we have a week-long run in Brooklyn in October at a theater there, it was like, that to me, after years of sort of debating how far is too far, I was like, no, we're going to be able to reach a really wide audience with that, playing by it's exactly the movie that the people who made it wanted to make.
Now that you bring up a really good point, theatrically, like, just distribution on any film, whether it's a big studio film like The Avengers, or if it's a tiny film like, you know, Moonrise Kingdom, you know, you have these films that it's so hard to get any film, you know, theatrical. VOD has become such a big thing. Getting on Netflix and DVD and getting the word. It really doesn't matter anymore because people aren't going to the movies anymore. They're watching stuff on, you know, screens. How do you feel about the way the film, like, if you could talk a little bit about the distribution of the film, you know, where it's going to be, obviously in Brooklyn, that you said the screening there, but where else could the audience, besides tomorrow at 3 p.m., could see the film?
Well, it's Jordan Kessler, who's a producer who worked with Amber on Drones, her excellent feature she co-directed with Adam Bush. It's such a good film. Yes, you have to go see it. And having her as the lead actress, and of course Travis in there as directors to act it's great, because they know exactly where you're coming from. But she had Jordan, in fact, that coffee where I was like, "You're not a bitch, right?" She's like, "I'm not a bitch." I'm like, "All right, let's do this." She's like, "You need to talk to Jordan, who produced our movie." And then 2 years later, he comes to the same screening you did, Joe, and he's like, "Listen, man, you need to talk to this company called Gravitas Ventures." He's like, "They're really at the forefront of digital, and that's where your audience is going to be. That's where, you know, if you're going to make any money, that's where it's going to be. Put your focus there." And fortunately, somebody from Gravitas had come to that screening. Her name's Mia Bruno, and she's now as big a member of the Dust Up family as we have. And yeah, so it's like, you know, there's nothing better than the theatrical experience, especially with a movie like Dust Up. Come to the screening tomorrow. It's so fun to watch with the crowd. We'll have another screening in LA. I'm not going to tell you about that because this is about Comikaze. And there's other screenings around the country too. So if you have a chance to see it theatrically, please do. But it's such a rare thing these days, especially for a microscopic film. If Moonrise Kingdom is tiny, we are microscopic.
There's also a screening right on the 28th.
Yeah, that's right. If you can't make it tomorrow at 3 o'clock, or even if you do, we already have people requesting they're wanting to see it again. So you may see it at 3 p.m. tomorrow and come out on the 28th. We're having a screening. You can go to tug.com. They are doing our theatrical screenings. But that's a rare thing. So be a part of that. But otherwise, you know, digital has made it accessible, both in production and distribution. You don't have to have nearly the resources on either end that you used to. You just have to have a bunch of people that believe in what you're doing.
Now, we have a few minutes left because I'm getting placards back there with minutes going by. Thank you, sir. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, miss.
Kind of a mix of them, trying to decide which one to go for.
Wow.
I was going to say, when making movies, do you guys ever have just like casting calls? Because like, I'm an actress and I'm just like, for free, and I mean like people who want to make movies and you know, you want to just have random people for extras or for anything. Do you have a website that you...
We do. In fact, we can give you a little postcard too of our Drexel box. This is our company Drexel box that we're all a part of, and what we make movies are like all of our movies here and pictures and stuff. And we do cast a lot of, you know, our friends and stuff. We do a lot of that, but we've held auditions constantly. We always are holding some kind of audition for something. If one of our friends isn't right for a role, or we just want to work with a fresh face, breakdown services, a lot of. It'll always say Drexel box on them. And yeah, you can sign up for our email stuff, and we'll email blasts out of what our projects are going on. So just get involved with Drexel box and you'll know what's going on.
Nice.
Did I answer that correctly?
I also wanted to say I love Amber Benson, and I was a huge Buffy fan, and then I ended up watching Chance, and I was just, I just really loved it. Like it was hard for me to get a hold of watching it, but when I saw it, I was really stoked, and I was like, it's not just an actor, it's all of this.
I think you have to be that way now. You have to not just be an actor or a filmmaker or a writer. You have to kind of do everything. And you also have to be a promoter and a business person, because if you're going to get your film out there, you have to do it yourself. The world is changing. It's the Wild West. And anybody can make a film now. The 5D 70, which is what we shot the film on. If you come to mine, you see it looks amazing. Shannon is so talented. And you can take that same camera, buy it for $3,000, $3,500, which is nothing. Final Cut Pro, make it yourself, put it out yourself on the internet. Like it's the Wild West now. So if you're an actor, be a writer, be a filmmaker, be a creative person. Do it for yourself. That's what we're doing.
Everybody on this stage, myself included, everybody here, like that has been, thankfully, the technology and the way that you can literally shoot something today, put it online tonight, And whether it's a dancing cat or a farting dog or Travis's penis, it will get hits. Maybe not Travis's penis, but it will get hits, and it does have distribution. It's not like, oh, I have to wait for a festival to show. Like,
well, that's just it. When we shot Joshua, the first film we did together, we shot that on film. If digital didn't exist, I don't know if we would have shot another film since, because we spent, that's probably our biggest budget we've ever used, was on our first film. Friends, family, everybody kicked in. We shot on Super 16 millimeter.
Well, even in like 3 years later, 2 years later, when we shot Little Big Top, Super 16 was still the cheaper option, even though I think the Red had just come out, but the packages were so expensive, it was still cheaper to shoot and process Super 16.
Yeah, but we've slashed our shooting budgets way down, because you make that first film and then you don't have the friends and family willing to kick into the next one necessarily. So because of digital, we were able to do just as quality work, but now for less money. Thank God, or we might not have made another film anytime too soon, or maybe we wouldn't have made Dust Up. It would have been something different.
Yeah, it would have, we did, fortunately, the one thing that gave me a little bit of solace was great actors and a script we felt was working going out there. So I was like, Shannon shooting the faces on these people, because we had great faces in this movie, we're gonna be okay. If we can fool them with our action stunt stuff, and our gore effects, which we knew Tom Devlin would pull off, we're gonna be okay. So, you do wanna write these things thinking about the resources you have. I knew my mom lived in Joshua Tree and had access to some amazing places. So it's like, write this stuff you have for production value inherent in your life.
yeah, I mean, that's like, if you guys can walk away from anything from this panel, it's like, you can do it. When you do see Dust Up or anything that Drexelbox has done, it's so inspiring, because you can say to yourself, like, look how good this stuff looks. It's great to have people that you can collaborate with and not be like divas on set or whatever, and you can make something that you truly believe in and not go, well, I had 14 producers on this and they all want to have their say in something. It's your vision, it's your story, and you get to tell it, and it's such a great time. And like what Amber said, it is the Wild West. And Dust Up is a perfect example of where indie film is going. So I hope you guys all see it. Does anyone else have any other questions?
I think we have to roll out, but we'll stick around. We'll answer questions here, and we'll be down at booth 868. Also, if you don't catch us here, we'll be down there.
Eye patches. You can feel what it felt like to be Gaffey. It's not fun, but it's an experience. Thank you guys so much for coming.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel or visit us online at weednopolis.com.